Okay, there we go. There we go. Preview live, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful stuff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the party. We're back. Apologies for the slight delay, some technical difficulties. I was at the coffee shop getting some work done, and I had to get back in time to do the show, ladies and gentlemen, because it's sprint day. It is sprint day. Do I like sprints? I don't like sprints really, but it does mean that we get an extra competitive session. So it's better than it used to be. So I'll say it's better than it used to be, because at least after sprints today, they can change the setup for quali. So, Parc Ferme no longer exists. Welcome everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Hit a like on the stream if you're new. What's good, Austin? Welcome from Ohio. Greetings from sunny Manchester. It's been up and down, but it's actually quite sunny today. And yeah, I guess any race is a good race. These on screen on the left-hand side are well, I can zoom out a little bit, I suppose, to show you in a bit more detail. These were the quali gaps from yesterday's pretty insane quali session. I mean, look, we've had a few insane quali sessions this year, but I'm not going to lie, every single quali we have is a banger. Every quali has come down to, what, a 10th? Something like that? Pretty insane. Hopefully the race will be just as good. But yesterday we needed it, right? I know that this season there was a lot of feeling of it's not quite living up to the billing. Because people were saying, okay, this year's going to be the best F1 season ever. Final year with a championship and these regulations. Max is going to be in the mix. Lando and Oscar are going to be in the mix. The expectation was that Leclerc and Hamilton were going to be in the mix, but unfortunately, the Ferrari is just weak. Just weak. That's all I can say. It's just weak in many areas. So the Ferrari isn't in the mix. So, okay, what is it going to be? Max versus the two McLarens? Still an interesting championship, but maybe not quite as compelling as we were hoping for. And then out of nowhere, Antonelli sticks it on pole. I mean, look, so far this season, Russell has threatened pole a couple of times. If you'd have told me that the first Mercedes man to stick it on pole this year would have been Antonelli, I'd have said, I wouldn't have been shocked, to be honest. You know that I rate this guy. But still. Yeah, welcome to the show, everyone. The sprint is underway in about 50 minutes. We've got lots to talk about before it happens. Then, good morning, good evening, all. If you're new, drop a like. I'd appreciate it. Killanova says, Rab, I'm from the future. Here's what happens into turn 1. Max crashes into Lando. Oscar overtakes Kimi. Lewis up to P3. Russell P4. Leclerc P5. Look, we'll see. It also is raining right now in Miami. That may be a factor in what happens at the start of this Grand Prix. Can Kimi win the sprint? Oh, it is a question. It is a question. Is Mercedes back? Is it too early to say? I don't know. I'd actually love Mercedes to be back because it's still a long championship ahead. I think in terms of competing for the championship, though, unfortunately, Russell, he's a little bit behind. He's 20 points behind Piastri. He's not that far behind, really. Russell's on 75 points. Max is on 85. Lando's on 87 and Piastri's on 97. Something like that. I could actually bring up the numbers, couldn't I, probably? We are doing a live show, so it couldn't be too hard. F1 standings. And yeah, I was pretty much right. F1 standings look like this. I guess we can just click here. That'll do. So yeah, there'll be better ways to show this in due course. Let me go to the big cam or the small cam. There we go. So yeah, Piastri's at 99, Norris at 89, Verstappen at 87, Russell at 73, Antonelli's at 38, which is he's been a bit hard done by there. What happened in Bahrain, I think there's been a couple of Grand Prix where Antonelli probably should have scored more points. But if Mercedes are back, is it going to affect the championship? Probably not for Mercedes, unless they become the best team, in which case Russell has a very compelling chance. Look, if Russell wins a Grand Prix and nobody else scores any points, if, someone goes bowling into turn 1, it is still championship on. But also Russell has got to think about his teammate, right? And that's also the other big talking point of yesterday that I really love, is that all of a sudden George has got the first few rounds, Antonelli was kind of easing in a little bit. And Kimi's made this very clear in his interviews too. I think even Toto mentioned it yesterday, that the first few Grand Prix, Kimi was just, easing in. I think the race did an interesting video where they talked about in Suzuka, where there was a real feeling from Mercedes to Kimi, you just build up through the weekends, right? Like, don't push it too hard in practice, but then come quali, he had to make a big step. So Kimi, his approach now is just to send it. And the Mercedes is compliant. It doesn't seem like a diva of the last few years. So it seems like Antonelli can send it all he wants, and he's probably not going to send it into the wall, which is pretty mega stuff. But yeah, lots to talk about. Obviously, I know a few guys are in it yesterday watching along. We talked about whether Antonelli could do anything. Could he put up a fight to the others? Because, I mean, I kind of half predicted it. I said, like, I did mention Antonelli as my dark horse for the day, but then I couldn't fully get myself to believe that Antonelli could turn up to a track that he's never driven before and somehow pull out a result like this. But I guess he might even be better than I thought he is. And I thought he was pretty good. So, look, it's only one quali session. It's only one sprint quali session, so it's not... But it's indicative, right? I mean, it's very indicative of what we can expect. And it creates just fascinating storylines. I think that's what I love so much about yesterday, is that it really... There's so many different angles to this now that make it really interesting. Especially the Mercedes dynamic, I think, gets real tasty, especially if the Mercedes is back, which it may or may not be. What do you like flavouring Max? I'm not even sure what that's meant to mean. But yeah, welcome everyone. Hope you're all looking forward to the sprint. Brad says, watch your videos from Australia every morning. Best F1 commentary on YouTube. Would rather watch this in the Sky pre-show. Well, I agree. That's always been my philosophy in content creating. It's like, okay, what type of thing would I want to watch? So let's just make that, right? Let's just make that. Okay, let's talk about how we got here, because... Pretty mental day yesterday. Wow, Mark, thanks for the $5 Canadian. This race will be won on the first lap with how bad the dirty air is. Interesting observation. I'm not necessarily going to disagree. I think that, yeah, dirty air is a big problem this year. Sector 1, it's going to be an issue. It shouldn't be as bad as Jeddah. They did extend the DRS zone running down to turn 11, which should help overtaking. I think, again, it's a Grand Prix, right? I mean, it's a race. It's a difference as... two factors in play. There is dirty air and there's tyre degradation. Whatever that looks like, we'll see. But I don't think it's going to be clear cut. And also, we frankly have no idea what the race pace looks like. I mean, yesterday's session gave us really no information on that at all. So it's almost impossible to say, oh, Merc are back, McLaren are the best. Because also Verstappen, you know, look, he's 2.5 tenths off here, but that was on the same set of tyres that he did his first lap on. Because he messed up his first lap. He was a bit shaky at the end of the first sector. And then he went again on the same set and improved by, I mean, well, improved by about 3 tenths, right? 2.5, 3 tenths. And that was on the same set of tyres. So, because they're only allowed to use one set, right? I saw some people saying differently, but I'm pretty sure they're only allowed to use one set. So, I think that was the same set of tyres. And, I mean, what? Does a set of tyres lose around a lap here? At least 2 tenths, at least 2-3 tenths. So if Max nailed it first time, he probably would have been right there, which makes it even more compelling, to be honest. It's raining, Rab, no dirty air. Well, okay, we'll see. Does it keep raining? Does it stop in time? Actually, the F1 Academy, I know people are mentioning that. I might bring it up on the other monitor. Not sure I could actually just play this because I might get done, you know what I'm saying? But I'd be interested just to keep an eye on to see how the weather looks. Maybe it's over now. I think it might be over now. Okay, maybe it's going to stop raining. We'll see. But it probably will affect everything. It probably will affect things to some degree. Yeah, welcome everyone. Could well be Inters for the start. Could very well be Inters for the start. And you know what they say about... Well, I don't know if they say it, but Antonelli in the rain gets gassed up heavy, right? You remember when people were saying how Antonelli was like 2 seconds a lap quicker than his Formula 2 counterparts in, was it Bahrain? So some rumour anyway that came out that Antonelli was lapping like insanely quicker, and he did do it. Was it Silverstone this year? Last year there was some F2 race where Antonelli was like a second a lap quicker than anyone, so... That is a talking point. Okay, a few things I wanted to go through from qualifying. I want your guys' take on this. We will do predictions. Xylee, look, I only have so many hours of the day, but I do appreciate the love. Okay, this is Lando Norris on what I think is a push lap. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was pushing here. And this is Max Verstappen on the racing line, and he gets impeded and he goes off the line. Now, I'm a little bit confused because this was not even noted. I would love someone to tell me why this was not even noted. Because when I saw this, and this is Max impeding Lando, he has to back off the lap, I thought for sure there would at least be a conversation about whether this was impeding. But they didn't even mention it. So I'm a little bit confused, to be honest. Maybe Lando wasn't on a push, but it looks like he was on a push to me. He's taken the race, and this is... I know that you do want to wash wide here. Like, the line that Lando's taken is actually kind of the racing line. But Max is still getting in the way a bit here. So I'm a little bit confused why it wasn't even mentioned. Because Max got summoned to the stewards. And now he got summoned to the stewards because he did his outlap slower than he should have done. There's now a rule, obviously, on how quick you have to go. And the reason why... So he was like 6 seconds slower than he should have been. But they let him get away with it because Red Bull had put the data in wrong to his like steering wheel. So his steering wheel, he did the right thing based on the data that he had. But there was some error that meant that the data was wrong. So I don't know if that's a bit of a... Like, is that a bit of a trick? I'm not saying Red Bull had done this deliberately. But, like... Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, we accidentally put in the wrong data to the steering wheel. So I guess Max is okay to do his outlap slower then and just take a reprimand. I don't think it was intentional. I'm just saying that if you can do this and get away with it because of some, grey area, then it's the type of thing that these teams will exploit. I just think it's interesting. I'm just confused why, why that wasn't brought up. Again, people are going to say, oh, he's hating on Max again. It's like, I don't care if it's Max. I don't care what driver it is. I'm just like, look, there was someone, I thought that was impeding. It certainly looked like it could be impeding and it wasn't brought up. So why, right? Like the FIA are always under fire. And this is another one. I thought it was kind of strange. So yeah, look, it's not a massive deal. It's not changing the tide of the championship. Not yet anyway. But I thought it was at least interesting because the stewards are under probably the biggest spotlight that they're ever going to be right now. I don't think the FIA has ever, at least in recent times, had the level of criticism that it seems to currently be getting. So, yeah, anything that looks a little bit controversial, obviously we're going to have a little chat about. So there was this that happened yesterday. Appreciate you, Rank. Not from Scotland. I'll need to come to Scotland sometime. That comment say you look like Vesti. I got told that the other day as well. Honestly, I wish Vesti was a bit quicker, though. Okay. Let's talk about qualifying. So... this is pretty crazy, these stats, by the way. So Oscar this season has either been on pole or has been within a tenth of pole. And I think the consistency of the execution from Piastri is incredibly commendable because he just doesn't really make mistakes. I think we saw it in his F3 campaign. We saw it in his F2 campaign. He just executes very efficiently and just converts advantages. And I think Lando is just naturally, I think, going to be a bit more hot and cold. And that Oscar's just there all the time. Doesn't really make any big errors. Doesn't push over the limits too much. Of course, yesterday he had the little lockup at the end of the back straight. That cost him time. Probably cost him pole. But still, Oscar's gaps to pole this year have been pretty insane. So, Gabriel says Lando and Max crashing in lap 1. We'll see. Look, it's a sprint. You don't really want to crash because then it affects your run in qualifying later in the day. So, you want to really avoid crashing if you can because then the team has to fix the car within a matter of a couple of hours in order to get back. I will keep an eye, by the way, on the rain. I know that people are talking about it. So I'll keep an eye out to see what's happening over there right now in Miami because it's definitely a talking point. How many laps does Lance last in the rain? So it was a bit of a tongue twister from Noah. Honestly, Lance is not the worst wet weather driver of all time. He's not great. Let's be real. But, he's starting quite a way back anyway. Okay, bit of drama today. So the question that many people are wondering, I don't know the answer, is what does race pace look like today? Okay, great. Antonelli's on pole. Unreal performance. What happens in the Grand Prix? Maybe we could talk about Yuki real quick as well, because Yuki kind of got screwed over by Red Bull. Max, for some reason, I think Max tried to get out of the way and then realized that Yuki wasn't going to come through at the final corner. Then Max goes into the pits. Yuki doesn't cross the line in time. There is a quick update on Yuki that I will just mention, and that is that they are going to change his suspension, and therefore he's going to start from the pit lane. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're anywhere below like 15th on the grid for the sprint, you might as well just not bother, really. I mean, like, let's be honest. The top 8 score points. There isn't really enough time to make enough progress. So if you're like bottom 5 for the sprints, in my opinion, you should just try something on setup, take the hit. That's what Red Bull do. That's like Red Bull tend to do this because they realize that you can't going to score any points. So what's the point? Just starting from the pit lane, change the setup, and see if you learn something new, I guess. That seems to be the plan. I do feel kind of bad for Yuki, though, because he's not got the new upgrades, and he just kind of got screwed over by his own team yesterday. But look, it's a practice session. Fortunately for Yuki, the way the sprint used to work, quali, sprint, and then the sprint sets the order for the race, no longer a thing. So there's another opportunity, of course, later on today. Do I think Antonelli's going to get pole again later today? No, I think it's very unlikely that he does it twice in a row. It would be insane if he does, and I wouldn't count him out, but I just think the chances of Antonelli doing it again, given that Piastri, if he didn't have the small lockup in the final corner, probably would have got pole, as good as Antonelli's lap actually was. So, yeah, sprint starts in about 35 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Which legendary British F1 track would you bring back if you could? I mean, there's some legendary tracks, but I don't know if there's any that would really work for F1 is the issue. Silverstone's just brilliant. Silverstone's just the best track. It may not be the best in other ways, but it is an unreal, it's my favourite circuit. I'm probably biased on that with Silverstone being my favourite track, but I just think, if you want to show someone what makes a track good to race on compared to a track bad to race on, you just have to show them the first 30 seconds of Silverstone 2021. All the different lines you can take through the first sector, through all the corners. It's just sensational. So yeah, Donington would probably come to mind. Okay, Red Bull, there's a bit of drama. We'll talk about it later today probably. But Red Bull are back at it again. They think McLaren are cheating. So here we go. Yeah, Donington, Brands Hatch. I think Brands Hatch would probably be the one that I would come up with. But yeah, my Silverstone is just so, there's so many reasons that make Silverstone amazing in my opinion. Anyway, Red Bull. So we've had the tyre water. We've had what was the other one? The brake duct cooling. I think that's the new one. That's where we're back at it again with right here. So Red Bull, they've decided to invest in some thermal imaging cameras, and they are trying to analyze, they have found apparently that there are some cooler spots around the vents of their car, and they feel like they are cooling their tyres and their car in a way which feels a little bit too good to be true based on air alone. Again, it's a Red Bull theory, right? And we've seen this before. The Red Bull say, oh, X team is doing this. Are they really? I don't know. It is the Red Bull classic. I mean, whether you think it's fair or not, this is what they do. If they're losing, they will accuse the other team of cheating. It's the Red Bull approach. And maybe they're right. I don't know. Maybe at some point they'll actually be right. Very interesting. I don't know if Zach Brown's going to come up with an alternate. He's got the tyre water thing. Maybe he's going to I don't know. There's probably some other joke that he can think of in about 8 months' time when he gets there eventually. But yeah, this is like Red Bull heritage right here. They're getting the thermal imaging cameras out. Are they going to find anything? I mean, look, at the end of the day, the Grand Prix in Spain in a few rounds is going to be real telling. That's when the flexi wings get clamped down on. Everyone's talking about McLaren for the flexi wings. But I'm not going to lie, Mercedes have some flexible wings. They have some seriously flexible wings. So, yeah, I think there's obviously a couple of teams that they should be looking for here. I think we've just hit 1,000 concurrent viewers as well, so appreciate all of you. I would also appreciate a like on the stream as well. Does help everyone, people find the new stuff and all that. So, like the stream. I'd appreciate it. It's free. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. All the YouTuber stuff. But yeah, that's the Red Bull rumours anyway of the day and the McLaren rumours. I think people want to know how fast could Antonelli actually be and what it means for Russell. So I want to talk a little bit about this. And look, I'll get to Hamilton. People are saying, why is Hamilton so slow? Why is Hamilton so slow? So, well, I mean, yesterday's quality was pretty solid for Hamilton. He was a couple of tenths off Leclerc, and Leclerc said that his lap was great, the car just wasn't fast enough. It's, Hamilton's P6, P7. It's not Hamilton isn't the talking point today. Although, Hamilton might be the talking point in the sense that Mercedes got rid of him. I think it is a very compelling argument, right? I mean, it's got to be mentioned that Toto made the comment about the shelf life and they wouldn't offer Hamilton a 2-year deal. And that's because they didn't want to lose Antonelli, right? They didn't want to lose Antonelli. And you can totally see why on this evidence. And like I said it in my video yesterday, that just so impressed with just everything about the fact that Antonelli scored pole yesterday. Like, it just, so many reasons why it was unbelievably impressive. And one of the key ones was he'd never driven here before. Now, okay, sure, he's driven on the simulator and all that. My lighting's just changed because the sun's come out again. Can you believe it? It's actually sunny here today. It's not sunny in Miami, according to what you guys are saying in the chat right now. So I'll be definitely keeping an eye out on that, because if it rains, it does get pretty compelling. More compelling than it already is. But this is a new track for Kimi, right? I mean, he's got Imola, he's got Barcelona, he's got other tracks coming up that he knows well. And Toto, the proud kind of father that he is, says it's going to be impressive. Rob says, how do I get F1 bread? Stay tuned, Rob. We are, we're cooking up something. It might take a couple of months, but we're going to be cooking up something. But the bread should also be transferable. If you know, you know. So, Toto is buzzing. I mean, for good reason, right? I mean, I think many of us were pretty confident that putting Kimi in the car was the right idea. Clearly, it's been the right idea. I mean, he's not even made any mistakes. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to jinx him. I really don't want to jinx him. But it's, apart from Monza last year in FP1, and that last year's car was tricky. This year's car's not so tricky. He's learning it race by race, and sticks on pole 3/10 ahead of George. Now, maybe George should have gone out again. Maybe they should have fueled him for an extra lap and he should have done another one. That's arguable for sure. But even then, for Kimi to stick it where he did was pretty insane. 3/10 ahead of George. And it puts a bit of pressure on George, right? It really does. I saw a comment the other day. Was it from, I don't think it was from Montoya. It was from some ex-F1 driver, and they were still making the claim that if Max was to go to Red Bull, or Max was to leave Red Bull to go to Mercedes, that Antonelli would be on the chopping block. And I'm like, you gotta be faded to think that. There's just no way. Even before this weekend, there's just no way that Antonelli's going anywhere. And certainly after this weekend, whatever happens today, tomorrow, I don't care. It honestly doesn't matter. There is just zero chance that Toto is ever getting rid of this kid. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's never going anywhere. So it puts the ball back in George's court. And you guys know that I rate George pretty highly. I think he's solid. I don't think he's spectacular, but I think he's solid. And this is the first time that he's been out-qualified, certainly in this way. Wait, people are saying Leclerc's crashed already? What, on the reconnaissance lap? Wait, hang on. This can't be real life. I'm just loading it up on the other monitor here. 1 second. Oh, oh my God, there's no way. Wow, it's so wet there. Wow, wait, hang on. What did he hit the, his rear suspension is actually cooked, isn't it? That does not look savable. Hang on, let me see if I can find a screenshot for you all to have a look at here. Wow, yeah, he's actually out of it. Let me just screenshot this real quick. Oh my God, it must be the water, chat. It must be the water. I'm honestly, you know, I'm also fed up at the must be the water comments, but like, you know, I couldn't resist today. Couldn't resist. Wow. Wait, okay, so he comes down. Wait, has he already hit the wall at this point? Is this down to turn 11? Oh my God, he was flying. What? Why was he going so quick? Wait, I'm so confused. I'm actually so confused by that camera angle. So this is down the mega back straight. What? Oh my God, wait, I didn't realize it was going to be this wet. I thought tomorrow was gonna rain, but yeah, Miami is a crazy circuit for sure. That's crazy. Okay, Brian Bozzi. Well, there we go. Pack it up. Well done, Ferrari. My team. They've done it again. Leclerc's already out of the sprint. See if they can get that fixed in time for quali. I think they'll be fine. But the other thing as well about this is that when you've got a car out of a session like this, it takes a bit of time to get it back to the pits. Then they have to test the car. Like, there's all these steps they have to go through and hoops they have to jump through before they even because they put him on inters. Okay, Hamilton just said, don't know why you put us on inters. I mean, I don't really know why Leclerc was going so fast, but yeah, everyone else is on full wets, huh? Oh my God, full wets, here we go. The safety car, if the FIA are going to do it, aren't they? They're going to drop the safety car start and all this. Let me, wow. Yeah, that's not looking good. It's a Ferrari classic. Feel kind of bad for Leclerc. But makes the race interesting. I mean, like, he's completed the full collection, right? Like, he's done it again. Charles been DSQ'd in China. Did he DNF at a Grand Prix? Now he's DNS'd anyway. So he's looks like he's going to get the full Ferrari experience here. I mean, he already knows what that's like, but Ferrari's a joke. Rain delay incoming. Yeah, It is still raining? Yeah, it's not just, yeah, it is still raining really heavily. Wow, you can't see anything out there right now. Okay, well, let's see what they do. This is actually really heavy rain right now. Obviously, I can't bring it up. I'll get copyrighted. But like, what I can do, actually, we'll just do it this way. I can just scroll through the F1 Twitter account. And then we'll just like see what they tweet out. So, yeah, this is Leclerc. Wow. God, it's so... Honestly, I will admit, the livery deserves it. Does it not? The livery deserves it. There should be a rule that the FIA can force to use full wet. The thing is, the full wet tyres are just fraudulent. They're not good tyres. They don't work properly. It's impossible to even race with them because if the full wet is the fastest tyre, then the track is too dangerous to race according to the FIA. So I don't think it's any point mandating full wet to be used. Yeah, I think he just drove straight into the wall. I mean, like, yeah, obviously he was going quick, but I don't really understand why he would even risk that, to be honest. But look, this is proper racing, assuming they actually race. Also, this is another opportunity for Antonelli to just prove, like, legendary status, right? Obviously, there's risk involved. But, like, yeah, so here we go. I'm watching the onboard now. So Charles, wow. He just aquaplaned, didn't he? It could look kind of worse from the other angle. But I think he just aquaplaned somehow on this back part, on the inters. Jesus Christ. He just aquaplaned and then could do absolutely nothing. And the car's already dead. Well, look, people were saying earlier that Lance Stroll wasn't going to last a couple of laps. Well, Stroll didn't put it in the wall. My GOAT. My GOAT is still in the Grand Prix. Bit of a mess for Ferrari to start things off. So, thankfully, he's all good, I imagine. But it is definitely pissing it down out there right now. 30-degree track temp. 75% humidity. I mean, it is like... Yeah. This is Florida, baby. This is Florida. The Miami... What's it called? The marina is actually going to have some water in on this evidence. Can you believe it? And then they're going to a break. So, yeah. Well, there you go. It's a great start. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Sitanshi. Like, Lance is actually decent in the wet. Wait, let me make sure I go here so I can read all your comments as they're coming through. Still a little bit new to this whole live show solo thing. Madman says, is Max finishing P1 or P2? Oh, good question. Good question. I think he finishes third behind Antonelli and Piastri. My take. Yeah, Leclerc crashed. I know everyone's coming into the stream. If you guys haven't seen it yet, let me just hit the refresh here. I'm actually going to I might as well just fully at this point back. Oh, here we go. We actually have the live thing. Will I get copyright struck for playing this? Probably not. Let's just do it anyway. I mean, you can see what happened. It's not really rocket science. Oh my God, Twitter video player, man. Look how bad the quality is as well. But he's coming on the inters. At this point, he just aquaplanes, and there's just nothing he can do. Oh, it's quite a heavy impact, really. I know it was front right. Wow. God, it's wet out there. Jesus. You don't see that every day. You do not see that every day. Max DNF, people are saying, fair use. Well, it's fair use, but, they don't care. Do you know what I mean? They will... It's not like I could appeal it. I mean, I could appeal it, but it wouldn't matter, right? So, if YouTube detects that you're using content that is copyrighted, the video you just get deleted. It just is what it is. So, you just got to be a little careful with it. It's generally fine. You tend to find that onboards are fine. If you use, the Sky Sports live broadcasts, you'll get fried. But the onboards, they tend to be okay. But yeah, from this angle, it looked pretty crazy. Look at that. Wow. What was that flying off of the... Wait, what's this little thing flying off at the top there? It wants to load. Does that come off his car? Oh yeah, maybe that was the part of the the end plate, maybe. Or the hubcap. Maybe that was the part of the front of the wheel that came off that we saw. Pretty dangerous. That just flew over the wall there. God. Poor Charles Leclerc, man. Is it time to go? Does he need to leave Ferrari? Is it, is the team cooked? Probably. Probably. Not like it's necessarily their fault, although they did go out on inters. It's obviously no excuse, is it really? It's no excuse. But yeah, he did aquaplane. Ferrari messed up, that's fair use. Yeah, bits of car were flying off. I do semi-follow MotoGP, although I'm not particularly engaged in it this year. Okay, Alumni Kid says it stopped raining. I'm on an advert right now, so I can't see. But if it stops raining now, it's pretty good time, because they maybe do a couple of laps on the wets. We might even get a little bit of strategy if they have to pit for inters at some point. But I think we'll just start on... It's not started yet. This isn't like a crash in the race. This is a reconnaissance lap crash. Yeah, you don't see this very often. Charles to Merck next year. I feel like Charles does feel a little bit... I don't want to say jaded, but I did see a quote from Charles after qualifying, and he was like, the car's just slow. I've done what I can, the car's slow. And he looked a little bit just downtrodden because I think he really thought this year was going to be the year. But this year is not the year. So, it's very unfortunate. 8 points for a win. Yeah, 8 points for winning the sprint today. 7 points for seconds. 6 points for thirds. And then on down to 1 point for eighth. So apart from that, there's no real point. Hamilton says, I can't believe you guys put me on Inters. So it is the absolute Ferrari classic. Oh man, poor Leclerc, man. I feel more sorry for Leclerc, I think, than any other driver on the grid in general, just because he's so good. He doesn't deserve this, He doesn't deserve the Ferrari pain. Hamilton, it's like, look, he's had his success. He's had his phenomenal career, and there's a certain volatility for good and for bad that comes with driving for Ferrari. You'll get the highs, you'll get the lows. But that's all Leclerc knows, Leclerc doesn't know a competent team. He hasn't had the Mercedes. And look, Mercedes have obviously struggled the last couple of years, and they finally put it together this year at a good time. But yeah, it looks like Leclerc's out of the sprint because there's no way you're getting that fixed in time. Even if they could fix the front, the suspension's definitely broken. There's just no way. There's no way Leclerc's going to make it back for the sprint. I think he'll be fine for qualifying, but yeah, P6. So I guess we need to update. God. Well, exactly. So there's a bit of a debate going on right now, I see on Twitter, whether it's Charles Leclerc's fault or not. Because, okay, he's aquaplaned. Probably not helped by the fact that he's on Inters. But also, does he have to be going this fast? No. So there's always two sides of the story, isn't there? But yeah, as I said earlier, that's what the livery deserved, I think. Behrman Lexton line for the suffering. Yeah, oh my God. I love Ollie Behrman so much as well that I do feel bad. Mark says Leclerc is not that good. I actually heavily disagree with that. I think Leclerc was the second best driver in F1 last year. And I don't actually think it was that close. My opinion. But you guys may disagree. Behind Max, of course. So, yeah, Leclerc's out. Leclerc's already out. So let's have a look at the starting grid. The starting grid is, well, it was this. And it no longer is this. So as it stands, it looks like it's going to be Antonelli, Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Hamilton, Albon, and Hadjar will move up into a point-scoring position if he can maintain it. Another big storyline of the day is whether Hadjar can keep scoring points, keep outperforming Lawson. Because if he does, Liam ain't in that seat for too much longer, let's be honest. Alonso will be P9. Yuki is starting from the pits, so he's going to be starting P19, but from the pit lane. Behrman will start P18. My boy Albon for the win. I mean, look, you can't deny that turn one has going bowling potential written all over it, right? I mean, we've seen it before. And you remember, was it last year? Yeah, it was last year where Perez nearly sent it down the inside and took out Max. Leclerc's car is so broken. There's just no way. There's absolutely no way that this thing is going to start the Grand Prix. I mean, look at this. It's just, yeah. No chance. No chance. So, who's going bowling today, Rab? Oh. Who's going to go bowling? Good question. I want to say, like, maybe Lando goes. No, surely Lando can't go bowling. I'm thinking Lawson goes bowling. My Lawson hate train is continuing. Madman Magic 69, thank you for the super chat. Is the reconnaissance lap mandatory? Actually, a good question. I mean, I'm almost certain it's mandatory. But it's a good question. Does anyone know the answers to that? Can the teams refuse to do it? I don't think they would. But because I think, well, yeah, I think you have to. Even if it's not mandatory, every team will always do it because you just learn too much about the car and the conditions and everything. Like, you would never do it not to take the risk, right? So I think probably it doesn't matter, but Actually, quite an interesting question. Elijah says, who do I think will take pole later? Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to say Max. That's my prediction for main qualifying. But, yeah, we'll see. So Leclerc's, yeah, if you guys are just joining the stream, appreciate you all joining. And there's still over 1,000 of you here watching live as we, well, unfortunately have to suffer the misery that Charles Leclerc is currently experiencing. This is his car. I mean, to be fair, this is not the worst image you've ever seen, but this is pretty bad. So he smashed up his suspension on the reconnaissance lap. It's very unfortunate. Would he even be allowed to start? The car was taken by the marshals. I don't even think they'd be able to get the car back in time for him to start. So yeah, exactly. Crash in turn 1 incoming. Turn 1 is gonna be insane because it's one of those turn 1s as well that like it just invites chaos, especially in these type of conditions. So yeah, it has stopped raining. I can see Ted Kravitz walking with Piastri to the grid, and there's no umbrellas. So it looks like the rain has stopped. Probably, if I had to guess, they'll probably just start on inters, because if they start on wets, they're gonna have to change to inters. So I think they're gonna start on inters. Unless the FIA force them to do a running start, which I really hope they don't do, I think they just have to start on inters and just send it. That's my opinion. But let's see, because it'd be interesting though, because some teams will probably want to run the wets for safety. But if they do that, they're just going to get eaten alive once the track dries. I can't see that happening. So, yeah, no big updates yet from the Formula 1 page, but I'm seeing how everything's currently unfolding. God. Poor Leclerc, man. Have a look at this angle. Well, it's just the shot, isn't it? These boys cannot crash right now. Max with the absolute dive bomb. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, it's a sprint. You can't crash. You can't afford to crash on a sprint day, because quali is in 4 hours, right? So you can't just crash, because if you can't qualify, then you start at the back of the grid. So you've got to be real careful. But this is what we keep talking about, like 6 rookies on the grid and Lance Stroll. You know, create some potential for some chaos. Is that Michael Johnson? It looks like Michael Johnson. That's pretty fire, actually. So it's about to start raining again, people say. How do we get Danica out? Well, the existence of Danica is the reason why people are watching me rather than Sky Sports right now. So, you know, she can stay around as long as she wants, as far as I'm concerned. Leclerc damage doesn't look too bad now. They'll be able to fix the car for quali. It'll be okay. Hopefully this is the gearbox isn't damaged, because you have a hit at the rear like that, it can be a little bit problematic. But he's obviously not going to be able to drive the sprint, so not like they were going to score many points anyway. But that is an absolute Ferrari classic. There's no other team like Ferrari, man. There's just no other team like Ferrari. 10-car qualifying coming up. Well, I don't know how these first few laps are going to go, but there's going to be some... They're going to have to be so careful today. Going to have to be so careful. We have had wet sprints before, haven't we? Like, I want to say... and there's at least been some. I want to say Austria 2023. Do you remember that one? When, like, Russell pitted for Inters and was making moves at the ends, compared to everyone else was on the older tyres. So there have been moments like this before. But, yeah, they're going to be feeling it, because turn 1 could get pretty hectic. And it was this, as I say, last year, let me just look it up, Miami 2024 race start. Just to see this picture of, it was last year, wasn't it? Perez lockup. Perez. I mean, yeah, it's not, okay, here we go. It's not the best picture you've ever seen in your life, but this was last year's race start. And this was in the dry. This was when Perez came from 4th and nearly wiped out Max. I mean, he got so close to wiping out Max. as he sent it down the inside of all the two Ferraris. It doesn't look like it's raining right now to me. I'd love to see the weather radar. Hello from Manchester, Mr. Ghost from Montreal. It's been an absolute pleasure. Delayed start. I think they're planning to start on time. That's how it says anyway. Optic Shadow. I started the COD channel first. This is the most recent one by a mile. If Sky rang, you are going to join their team? Depends on the contract terms, to be honest. The answer's probably no. But if Sky want to be on the occasional like show or something, then yeah, sure, I'd do it. But I wouldn't want to give up. Like, I've always been very keen not to give up freedom to say what I want. Do you know what I mean? So it's been my opinion. Second City Saint, thanks for the super chat. I think Toto ditches George for Max if he gets the opportunity. Well, look, I will say that is, after yesterday, that is again a big topic on the lips, right? I mean, especially after this quote, I did show it briefly earlier when Leclerc crashed into the wall. When Toto is talking about Antonelli and saying, look, it's going to be impressive these next few Grand Prix rounds. Antonelli's going to cook. And look, if I'm Toto, do I do it? If all things being equal, yeah, I do it. But George is a good boy, isn't he? Don't clip that. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like George is a competitor, but he'll fall in line. He'll take the party line and party approach, and that's quite good for Mercedes. They've got their consistent, experienced, fast, very fast in George, but not spectacular driver. And then they've got their younger, rookie, upcoming talent. It's a good combination for success and for the future. But if you get the chance to get Max, I mean, like, it's Max, right? So yeah, if people want to know what's happened to Leclerc, and I'll give you your answer. Leclerc crashed into the wall on the reconnaissance lap because Ferrari put him on intermediate tyres and he was probably going a bit too fast, and he aquaplaned and he hit the wall on the run to turn 11. And now he's out of the sprints. He messed up his rear suspension, broke his front wing, and Ferrari moments. So yeah, apologies, Frog, to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what's happened. They've done it again. But look, Ferrari weren't really the talking point of the day, although now they probably are going to be. Damn, they've got a whole Michael Johnson intro piece here for Sky. This is fire. Any big athletics fans will know who I'm talking about. I mean, I like to hope that he actually knows a thing or two about F1 as well. But, it's all good. It's Miami, baby. It's Miami. It's going to be celebrities. It's going to be cringe-inducing. It's certainly as a Brit, It is what it is. But everything's about to get underway in a few minutes' time. The grid looks like it's ready to go. The rain has eased up. So I think they're going to be starting. Look, I need to go and get some food. So as this gets underway, I'll call it a day and I'll say, been a pleasure, and I'll see you tomorrow before the main Grand Prix. Well, I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you later today, actually. I'm not going to be live during the sprint. It's too tiring standing up here for like a couple of hours. No, I could do it, but like, it's just a lot of content, right? It's a lot of content. I prefer to just nail the pre-show, have a great time with that, enjoy chatting to you guys, and then come back a little bit later. I think at some point we will probably be doing watch parties, but I did mention in a video a while ago that, so there's this like media company that I'm a co-owner of in competitive Call of Duty, and we're bringing it into F1 slowly but surely. And we have a few ideas of what we want to execute over the next couple of months. So in due course, we should have a product which I can watch party with, which is going to be spectacular. That is the plan. Stop roasting this track, please, says Ida. I don't hate this track. It's not great, but I'm not roasting the Miami track. I'm just like the whole Miami Grand Prix, right? Look, if I win, I'm sure it'd be fun. So So yeah, Breaking Point F1 is in the works. We actually already have a Twitter account. It's called Breaking Point, but without the E, right? It's a good little play on words. But it's not point, it's PT. Safety car start, Camille says, is that true? Or is that a guess? Let's have a look here. They just announced? Okay. Ah, typical, innit, man? Typical. I mean, it's not... Like, it's fine. It's nice for Antonelli. Look, I'm happy with that because I want to see Antonelli win the sprint. It'd be a great time. My predictions, Madman Magic, are... Well, let's do that, shouldn't we? Just before it starts, we should do a little prediction. I'll hit you with a little poll. Winner. Ant. Piastri. Max. Norris. I mean, obviously there could be more winners than this. My prediction is P1 Antonelli. He closes out. Absolute masterclass 2 days in a row. Might be a bit, might be a bit premature. But I think in the wet it's actually more likely. I was pretty convinced that in the dry, Antonelli will have a hard time holding on just because I'm not convinced that Mercedes in race trim are actually going to be there. But in the wet, I think he could do it. I've got Piastri coming seconds, and I've got Max coming third. I've got Norris bottling it somehow, respectfully. And I've got Lawson going bowling. Those are my predictions for today. All right, been a pleasure. 1,500 hours, it looks like it's about to get underway. I'll see you guys later on after the sprint for the video that we do, recapping everything. And then I'll be back tomorrow with another little pre-show before the Grand Prix. So thanks for watching as always. Been a pleasure.